All right, we are live. Welcome to those who just got the notification. If you're joining us on LinkedIn, welcome. If you're joining us on YouTube, welcome. We're going to give it a couple of minutes so that folks can get logged in here. And we will have a full house. You can see on our screen already, it is a true roundtable. We have many different countries, a ton of different time zones represented. So you are going to be on a journey here with all of us as we go through the Black Friday Cyber Monday strategies. Again, we are just going to give it a couple minutes here before we will kick things off. And if you are just getting settled, get your coffee, depending on what time zone you're in. And if you want to go ahead and add to the comments where you are logging in from. We love to see where people are joining us from, because even our speakers are, we have folks, some in California, some in the Chicago area, some in Belgium, one in Israel. So it's definitely a wide range. Oh, one in Mexico. So I will let everyone say where they are joining us from during our intro. But again, we're just going to give it another probably a minute or so, and then we'll go ahead and see everyone's glowing faces on screen here. And yeah, if you want to go ahead and add to the comments where you are logging in from, that would be wonderful. We'd love to see who is joining us and from where. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get everyone's beautiful face on screen here. Oh, no. There we are.
I guess I have the most beautiful face, is what you're trying to tell me there?
Yeah, there we go. So I'm Victoria. I'll be moderating this conversation. And then I'm going to, because we have so many people in so many different time zones joining us, there is one person who is joining us via a recorded introduction. So I'm going to introduce you to Erwin, who because of the time zone situation, he's not joining us live, but he is going to be answering throughout the conversation his strategy suggestions. And then, so here's Erwin telling a little bit about himself, and then we'll just go through the line and everyone can say what they do here at Bridgeline, what their specialty is, and then we'll jump right into it.
Hey, my name is Erwin Siegel. I'm here from with Bridgeline, the account executive, working with online retailers for the past 12 years now, and it's been a fun ride. And I had the privilege to help many online stores, online retailers to increase their conversion rate, increase their average order value, optimize their search experience, optimize their category pages. So I've been working with both B2B and B2C retailers, both online pure player, but also multi-channel businesses. So it's been a very diverse experience that I've been able to collect. And I want to share some of the learnings that I had with you guys today. So thank you.
All right. So that was Erwin. And now we're just going to go through the line. Jonathan, why don't you tell us where you're calling from, what you do at Bridgeline, what your specialty?
Yeah, so my name is Jonathan Meyer. I'm the senior solutions engineers, or one of the senior solutions engineers for the Bridgeline team. I've been working primarily with the Hawk Search tool that Bridgeline offers for the last 8 years. So I have lots of familiarity with there, and just kind of working in the search space in general for the last 10. So I've been doing this for a while. Similar to Erwin, been working in the B2B, B2C, the content enterprise space, really focused on that search experience and how you can improve relevancy, how you can leverage things like machine learning and recommendations, and just the whole kind of search, on-site search toolbox, and really kind of how that can help a client.
Love it. Danielle? Oh, wait, did you say where you're calling in from?
Oh, I did not. I'm sorry. I'm keeping that a secret. We're calling from so I'm from the Chicagoland area, just a little south of Chicago there.
Awesome. Love it. Danielle?
All right. I'm Danielle. My last name is Erwin, so I'm the other Erwin at Bridgeline. Spelled the same way. Very exciting. I'm the VP of marketing. I work with Victoria and the rest of the marketing team to support all of our products. put out educational material and campaigns, and just have a lot of fun at Bridgeline. So that's my specialty. I have experienced lots of Black Friday, Cyber Monday campaigns. So for this webinar, that's my specialty. I am located in Southern California, and there you go. Hello.
All right. Jeremy, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Jeremy Leduc. I head up our True Presence division. That is our division focused on franchises in multi-location businesses, whether it be a national chain or a dealer network or a franchise system. We have a whole group of products and services for that particular industry. I've been in digital marketing for about 20 years. And I've been working with franchise systems for about 15 of those years. And I've been a franchisee myself for the last 5 years. And I am calling in from the Central Coast of California.
Beautiful. All right, Nathan, who's calling in from space?
Nathan Headley, VP of Sales for Bridgeline, primarily focused on our kind of Hawk Search product. I'm calling in from sunny San Jose del Cabo in the Baja of Mexico, so please don't be jealous of my surroundings.
So he wins the location lottery here.
Exactly. I've been solution selling, consulting in the omni-channel digital transformation solutions over probably 12, 13 years, and I've been I guess disciplined in the AI machine learning space probably for 8 to 10 of those years. So I've seen a lot of implementations across large retailers that have obviously tackled a lot of the problems that we're going to kind of talk about today.
I love it. Thank you. Okay, so we also have one other person who will be joining us from Belgium, and that is Nils. And because of the time zone situation, he will be joining us a little bit late, so it'll be sort of a surprise bonus mid-webinar. You'll be hearing from co-founder and SEO expert with WooRank as well. But for now, we're just going to jump right into it, and we're going to start talking about some spooky stories. Again, we are kind of keeping this a little bit Halloween themed, but these are essentially, do you guys have any examples of just a cautionary tale? Now, we don't have to call out specific brands or people or companies, but maybe some things that folks can learn from the mistakes of others and what to avoid for this.
All right, I can speak on that, and I can't, since it's a spooky store. Gather around the campfire, guys. It's very scary. For spooky stores, for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I can share some stories from early in my marketing career, things that I learned from being a part of campaigns. A few things that I've seen happen before is one, not having your customer support team fully aware of what's going on in your promotion for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It becomes a huge issue when they don't know the details of the promotions. If they're caught off guard when it comes to certain items, running out, or things that maybe on your website promotion are a little confusing. If they don't know about it, the whole entire customer experience is especially the week after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, is going to be a struggle. Another thing is during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, make sure that your graphic designer or whoever has access to the website and can make quick changes is there. Please make sure that they're not on vacation. You don't have anyone out who you really, really need for a pivot very quickly in emergency for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So those are the two things I would say from spooky stories related to these campaigns, because lots of things could go wrong last minute. Maybe even if you prepare months ahead, small details can go awry in campaigns. If you've worked in marketing for a while, you've experienced this, and I'm sure you've learned from it as well. But those are the things that I would recommend is, just be prepared for an emergency. Have people on standby and have your support team fully aware of everything and have them on standby as well. So those are my spooky stories. Things to avoid.
You know, Victoria, I just want to add something to that. Just from a technology standpoint, you know, really make sure you're prepared and that you're reaching out to all your partners. I know we do this as a technology company with our partners, right? Is they're letting us know what kind of traffic they're going to see, right? Because obviously this is going to be a massive uptick in traffic. So just think about your whole, you know, tech stack and all your partners in there, because if anyone goes down, if anybody can't handle the uptick in the traffic that you anticipate getting, you know, you're going to have a part of your system go down, and that would obviously really
just to add to that, Jeremy, there's some simple things that you can do, you know, around kind of server bandwidth to enable, like, you want to keep that speed optimized on your website. And they say, you know, during sales, things like this, you need to have an additional 50 to 75% of bandwidth over your normal traffic to allow for that additional traffic. But there's some simple things that you can do on the back end around things like optimizing images. Don't upload heavy images, like, or big file-sized images. There's ways to kind of optimize those, right? Hosting videos on external websites is another thing that you can do. Enable browser caching. And then just removing things like unnecessary HTML code and tags and white spaces, because they all slow everything down. So just some additional tips on how you can, you know, make sure that your website is optimized for that additional traffic.
Yeah. And also another thing is, if your website, God forbid, does go down, don't panic, and make sure that you have your hosting contacts ready. You know who to go to in case of that emergency. Have all of your contacts ready again, and just make sure you have all of your vendors, you have your contacts there, you know exactly who to go to in case of an emergency, because you know, prepare as much as you can, but if you're in the middle of a bad situation, have numbers to call.
Yeah, I love that. I think the general consensus is definitely like, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst every time. All right, I'm going to pop another question on here for the screen. Can you guys talk about the language you use around Black Friday, Cyber Monday? This is more for the people in, you know, sales. What sort of phrasing you would recommend for your e-commerce site, for your communications, things like that? Do you guys have any insight you want to add in there?
I think this one was this one on me, Victoria? I think I was going to.
Yeah. If no one talks, I was going to pick on you.
I know our SEO expert is kind of running a little bit behind, but there's a number of things here I think you can use around language. And I guess it comes down to whereabouts you are within your kind of campaign strategy. And I guess this lends into another one of the questions I think that we're going to talk about is what can you do now? And it all kind of comes together around the language. I mean, obviously there's insights from previous campaigns that you can utilize around, you know, the language, what keywords were used on your website, what keywords were used around products that converted. So that using those kind of things. And I think the behavior right now is, you know, there's a lot of people surfing, like window shopping online. Nobody's actually buying anything right now. And I know I'm not. I'm in the market for 2 or 3 new electronics, and I'm literally searching websites, and I'm literally keyword searching or model searching on websites for certain, you know, I need a new MacBook, I want a new TV. So being able to kind of gather those insights and understand what people are actually searching for will give you some idea around, okay, in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 5 weeks or whenever we come to the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, these are probably the keywords they're going to start to convert. So maybe you can tie this into your product descriptions, into the metadata, so that you can kind of, you know, this is where the conversions are going to happen from the insights that people are searching on right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, let me put this back up on screen. So this loops directly into what you were just saying. You know, I know a lot of people have already been thinking about their Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategy for months. But I will say it's not too late to think about this. You know, you're not in dire straits because it's, you know, what is it? 40 days away, something like that. So what are some things that you would recommend people start considering and updating in the short term? So what are things people can do right now to get ready?
I think just following on from what I was saying there, Victoria, there's other things that you can do. Like you're seeing activity and traffic, and you're maybe not seeing the conversions because people are literally window shopping. They're just looking, okay, does this website carry the product? I'm going to bookmark that website because I can come back to it a little later, and then maybe run a frugal to see which website is offering the best price. So around that, the activity of users and some of the keywords that you're seeing is maybe you can write a blog about that, about the activity that you're seeing. We all know that Google loves fresh content, and if you can kind of interlace some of those keywords, you're going to start to maybe attract some additional kind of like organic traffic.
Yeah, I love this, Nathan. This is such a good idea. I'd love to talk about maybe just some specific places. Like, I mean, you could go into Google Analytics right now. You could go into a product like a search tool like HawkSearch, right? And you could look at and see what are people searching for right now. I love the fact that you put your consumer hat on and said, I'm a consumer right now, and I'm actually doing the research. So why don't we leverage that as business people and actually look at that data now? And because you're absolutely right. I mean, it wouldn't be difficult to go into your search tool to see what are people searching for right now on your website or your Google Analytics, and actually start adding that into your products and your web pages and your blog posts and everything right now.
Yeah, 100%. And actually, this is a perfect time. I'm going to loop in Erwin's, we're just putting this in just completely organically. His answer very, very much covers the question of what can we do in the short term. So what can we do right now? So this is Erwin.
So what can we do short term? That's a really good question. It's very relevant. We have around 6 weeks leading up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which gives you enough time to do the most important things. Some of you probably started out with activities, marketing activities. So I have here a few points that I would like to mention that you can do. So one thing is like you could review your top queries of the past year. So go back to 2021, look at the 4 to 6 weeks leading up to Black Friday. What are your top performing search queries during those weeks? Review them, see what search results may come back today. Also, if you have, let's say, new trending products, make sure that the search queries that your shoppers may type into the search box actually return relevant results. The other thing is also reviewing your top fallbacks, like the not found or the zero found queries. So those are really important that you make sure that that there's nothing that could hold your customers up of making a purchase. So review your top fallbacks as well from last year during that time to make sure that you don't have to say or you don't make the same mistakes this year around. The other thing is also take action by adding synonyms where appropriate. So you could, let's say, go through your catalog, go through your top queries and your not found query list and add those problematic queries, search terms as synonyms to existing search terms to make sure that it doesn't matter how your customers, how your shoppers search, they would get relevant results. So the other thing is also you could review your category pages. Your category pages obviously is also very important. If they go straight to a category page, which products are you promoting on the first page? The very first products that they see, are those products like some kind of like accessories, or are they really the relevant products that they may be looking for? The other thing is also make sure that your shoppers have an easy checkout process. So this is all, I would assume it's relevant for the entire year, but especially during this time, you don't want the most important time of the year for your business to be basically a time where your customers want to make purchases, but they cannot or they get hindered by some unnecessary pop-ups or distractions along the way. So make sure that your checkout process from your product detail page to the checkout through the shopping cart checkout process is really clean and easy, and it's basically easy to use for everyone. The other point is also modifying your product recommendations. So you may or may not have product recommendations on your product detail pages. Make sure that you do have. If you don't, you can still add them. The integration only takes a few hours to do that, a few days maybe maximum. So the recommendation, what it does basically, it's helping to cross-sell products. So if someone is buying one product, they may be ending up buying 2 or 3 products because of the recommendation engine. So obviously, if the recommendations are useful, are relevant to your customers, then they would end up making or buying more products. That would increase, obviously, your average order value. One other point, I have a few points here, but we're running out of time. Creating banner campaigns. Banner campaigns are also something that you can easily set up. You can promote your products, your brand that you would like to promote. And I would say one of the most important things, promote your sale items. At the end of the day, this is the only reason or the main reason why your customers, why your shoppers, I would say, because they're not yet your customers, why shoppers would visit your online store is because they're looking for bargains. So for sale items, make sure that you don't hide your sale items like maybe throughout the year, but promote them. So also keep in mind that if you have a multi-channel business, that you would make sure that your online experience and the offline, basically brick and mortar store, has the same kind of offerings, the same kind of like promotions, so they don't get confused, because you have to keep in mind many of the visitors, before they visit your brick and mortar store, they would research online, go to your website, find products. If they don't find the products that they're looking for on your website, they just don't make the effort of visiting your brick and mortar store. So that's my 10 cents here. Thank you.
It's like he was here.
Yeah. All right. So, and actually we have an addition here. Nils, welcome. I'm so glad you were able to join us. We did very brief intros at the top, but all I really covered was that you're a co-founder of WooRank and our expert in SEO. So welcome. We're so glad you're here, because our very next point is entirely covering SEO. So this is your time to shine here. So let's see, SEO. How would you suggest folks can prepare going into this holiday?
Answer might sound boring, but I think getting the basics right when it comes to SEO is super important. Yeah, depending on your end goal, of course, things might be different. Generally, big SEO type changes, projects take several weeks or even months to pull through. So maybe that might be a little late, but again, getting the basics straight, having good title tags, readable content, and so on, that's super important. So the things we teach and show with WooRank, making sure that's all in order, super important. I do know about a horror story. It wasn't around Halloween, but more Super Bowl, I think, of a company that blocked their entire website. So they ran a Super Bowl ad and then blocked their entire website in their robots.txt file, so people couldn't even find him. That's the kind of stuff you don't want to have in these high volume events.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. But so, and then a bit more tactical, probably has already been said throughout the call today, but since I guess a group of people, visitors, people are scouting for, like they already know what they want to buy, beforehand, but they're scouting for the good deals. I think things you can do or can start doing upfront, even days before. So is have a look at your Google Search Console. So that's Google, the tool that Google provides webmasters, people having a website to show what's going on from the eyes of Google, like where's your website showing up for certain keywords, how many people seeing your website are actually clicking it, so click-through rates, stuff like that. So looking for the products that are already like trending and very important for your business, and then making sure that those product pages, category pages are user friendly. People find what they're looking for. Good descriptions. Like we always say, have a happy customer or happy visitor on your website, and Google will be happy. So that rule applies time and time again. Every time we do a webinar, I bring it up. Happy visitor is happy Google. So that would be my suggestion from an SEO perspective to prepare for Black Friday. So get the basics straight, and then have a look at what currently is already trending, what people are searching for in Google Search Console, and then how many people are ending up on pages, what are popular pages, popular product pages, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. That actually jumps perfectly into the next question that we had, are the helpful tools that we could be using to prepare for this holiday. And I know you already covered off on Google Search Console. Now this is sort of open for anyone to jump in. If you have any other helpful tools, and I do want to throw out, this is a big one right now, thinking about GA4 also, throwing that in there. If anyone has any tools they would suggest to use when approaching this sort of e-commerce centric holiday. Not all at once. And actually, I know the Google Search Console was one of them. And Jeremy, there was another tool, I think, very specific to franchises that I know a lot of small businesses, I mean, you're constantly looking at it. It's the Business Profile Manager. I feel like that would probably be one of those. Am I getting the acronym right? I know they changed the name.
They did just change the name. It was everybody referred to it as GMB, Google Business Manager, but it's actually now the Google Business Profile Manager. So we added a few more.
Big change.
Yeah, big change. But that's, it's an easy tool. I love the tools we've talked about here. We've talked about going into your search, not Google console, but your actual back end, search provider like a HawkSearch, which is great. You've got Google Analytics we've talked about, right? You've now got Google Console we've talked about. And yes, another huge product from Google is Business Profile Manager. What we're talking about there is the map section of a search result, right? So you go into a search result, fundamentally you have your organic section, your maps section, and your advertising section, right? That's what's going to surface in a result. The map itself is driven by Google's Business Profile Manager. And it's actually an incredible tool to go in there, any business size, especially small business, just because, a small business owner is really busy, typically operating the store, right? So they might not have a marketing manager, right? They might not, have an agency doing this kind of work. So being able to go into Google's Business Profile Manager, you can update all the information about your store, the store hours and all like that. But you could also put a post in there. You could put images, that are relevant to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and really personalize, for this time of year, the store and the storefront. And it's such an easy tool. And usually if you're the business owner, you're getting emails from Google already, from Google Business Profile Managers saying, hey, just making sure your hours are right, or hey, you just you've had a lot of people looking at your profile on Google, and so as a small business owner, I get emails all the time from Google, asking me, do you want to make a change to your basically your maps listing, if you will, and using that tool. So it's a great tool, and it has some information in there similar to everything we've been talking about here to give you insight into how are people engaging with you and your company and your brand, and how can you leverage that. Kind of similar. I loved what Erwin said, where he said he kind of expanded on great minds think alike. Nathan and Erwin were very similar in their approach to how to optimize your e-commerce this year. It's look at what's happening. Erwin added in, go back to last year and see what happened as well. And I think those kinds of insights are invaluable here.
And I think there's just kind of building on that a little bit as well. I think around putting the consumer hat back on. I'm literally bookmarking pages, right, of where I'm looking for a particular product, and I've got 4 or 5 websites, and I'm monitoring the price, and what is the price going to be on them? What's the shipping going to be like? So essentially, how can you take that behavior back as a retailer is, who your competition are. You know which websites you're going to be competing with. You know which e-commerce sites you're going to be competing with for certain products. There's apps and there's tools out there that are all driven from RSS feeds, super easy to set up, but you can basically highlight and product match so that any changes on a competitor website for price, for shipping, for any of those attributes that are going to kind of drive a seller to buy, you can create those RSS feeds, so you can keep on top of what your competition is doing and react almost in real time. So those are kind of really cool tools that you can do, I guess, from a consumer point of view.
Yeah, I love that.
Most of your commerce platforms will have one of these apps or one of these tools in their marketplace.
I do also want to touch on, because we have our site search expert here in the room. Jonathan, do you want to touch on, maybe a little bit more generically, but the site search tools that people can start thinking about using for this holiday?
Yeah. And there's a couple of different things that you can really kind of focus in on that'll help in the long term as well. Erwin covered some of the high level pieces there, but some other things I would add to his notes would be looking at things like, this time of year in particular, especially 2022, supply constraints are going to be a huge bottleneck for kind of what are people able to actually purchase when we're going through these Black Friday sales. You might have limited inventory. You might not have, what you're looking for there. So being able to set up some very straightforward kind of boost and bury rules, make sure that you have those rules in place to take those items that are out of stock, that are not available, that are back ordered, set those up so that they're able to really quickly capture those products that are no longer available and move them out of the front of your customers' eyes when they're doing searches and when they're navigating through your site. So they're only seeing the items that they can actually purchase. Another thing that I would recommend leveraging is creating an actual just kind of Black Friday page. You create a category page that curates all of your Black Friday deals. This can be accomplished a number of different ways depending on what tool you're using, but a really common one is just to set those items that do have Black Friday promotions or Cyber Monday promotions associated to them with a simple data tag that says, Black Friday is yes, Cyber Monday is yes, and use that as the data point to curate all of those items. That way, if someone's coming to your site specifically to look for those deals, they're not having to navigate through, let me look at what's available in electronics. So let me look at what's available in this category. They can go to one category page that has all of the Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals in one spot, and then use the other tools that are typical to navigation, facets, filters, and so on, even searching within that page to find specifically what they're looking for. That way they know they're getting all of the deals in one location. They're able to find what they're looking for a little bit easier. Really kind of streamline that process of getting them to the checkout point.
And to play into people's buying emotions as well on that, Jonathan, you can set simple things like creating like a filter or a slider that's like, how much percentage of a sale is this product? So I only want to see products that have a 50% sale. So, those are things that people, if you can make that easy for people to be able to kind of filter on, because again, everybody wants to see that discount and that red number that says, hey, you're saving this amount of money, and it all plays into the emotional, buying journey.
Another part of that emotional journey is the time factor. I mean, you think about Black Friday and Cyber Monday, in our heads, they've kind of become this month-long, ongoing process. But if you can convert that a little bit to be more like, here's a limited time thing. This is a 24-hour sale. This is what Amazon's doing with all of their Prime Day promotions that are, these limited kind of windows. If we can get a little bit more back to that, I think you can drive more of that emotion as well of, I need to act on this sale. I'm going to maybe do some research as much as I can, but maybe, I can't really do all the research I want, but I'm going to pull the trigger on this because it is a limited time opportunity for me to make that purchase.
Yeah, it's a little bit less of the Starbucks pumpkin spice latte starting in July, and a little bit more of the 24-hour, Amazon fire sale there.
And I think as well, like I think Erwin touched on this a little bit before, and what Jonathan's talking about here as well is like, let's say, I'm going to use my personal analogy again. I'm looking for a MacBook, one of the new M1 chip MacBooks. I click on that. I then want recommendations. I want that Amazon-like experience where I've got recommendations below of other MacBooks that are in the Black Friday sale that are of a similar kind of spec that I can very quickly do a product comparison on and go, these are all in Black Friday sale. These are all in line with the spec of the product that I'm looking for. But it gives me options, right? And that's what consumers want.
If anyone's got a deal on a MacBook, reach out to Nathan. I think.
I think that's
if everybody wants one.
Yeah.
That's the real theme of this webinar.
What is Nathan buying this Black Friday?
He's ready.
I love it. Now, are there any other tools that you guys want to throw out? Nils, do you have anything in your back pocket that is a go-to?
Yeah, to kind of anticipate on what's coming, Google Trends probably well recognized by many. Very good tool to spot trends, hence the name. The data it pushes back is not always the greatest because it's like relative data, like in 100% versus the period before lower, so they don't give actual numbers on searches. So another tool that I use myself and sort of adds on top of it's a Chrome extension. I mean, it's a tool that does a lot of things, but they have a Chrome extension that adds extra information to Google Trends. It's called Glimpse, meetglimpse.com, I think. Very great tool. On their website, you can also spot current ongoing trends more in a push model because Google Trends, you still have to find for the information you need. And maybe there's trends you're not aware. So this Glimpse tool is one that kind of spots them for you in e-commerce. E-commerce is one category in which they spot a lot of things, among other things. So that's another one to anticipate Black Friday, Cyber Monday products that might be trending already.
Yeah, I love that. Now, I do want to touch on one other thing. Let me put this question up on the screen. So, Jeremy, this is probably going to be a little bit more of your world here because you work directly with people, with a brick and mortar location. A lot of the rest of us here are, pixel pushers, and we're dealing more on the digital side. But, you have a very direct relationship with people who have an actual physical business. They still exist.
There's a physical world out
do you want to talk a little bit about how to translate that digital activity to a physical location for such a big e-commerce holiday?
Yeah, and I was looking last night at just some of the folks who have joined us here today, and thank you all for being here. And I did see there are a number of companies here with physical locations. So I love it. Let's talk about how do we take all this online activity and translate it offline, right? Because that's there's lots of synergies here, right? Because anything you do here, you could also be thinking about how to boost your activity online for the purposes of your website, but also try to synergize that with offline, especially if you do both. That's a bit more narrow of a group is folks who actually sell online and offline. but all of that, can synergize. So to kind of frame this up for folks to, think about as we, let's kind of talk about some strategies and tactics. But we've talked about, how do you optimize, your site for what you think people are looking for? And these examples have been incredible. But what we're talking about now is you've got a ton of online activity, and we're obviously, everybody knows, as soon as Black Friday hits all the way through the weekend till Monday, there's not just a lot of activity online, there's a lot of foot traffic around you as well, right? So how do you maximize that for yourself? So starting online, right? We've talked about how to optimize your site, your products, your product listing pages, things like that. Another thing you could think about is optimizing for near me. Literally, the term's near me, right? There's lots of things you can do with that, right? You can go into your website, again, and actually, use these words, right? You can go into, we talked about Google Business Profile Manager, right? Where you can go in and optimize for near me. You could also, as a business owner of a brick and mortar, I know this sounds super basic, but a lot of business owners get really, really focused on just their name, and they literally type in just their name and to see themselves show up in Google and how they're appearing. But think about doing that with, the consumer hat on, like directions to your location or something specific, or Black Friday deals at your location. Type in those keywords and see how you appear, because that's how consumers are going to see you on Black Friday and through that weekend. So think about near me. That is definitely, that's an SEO tactic that you can use. If you do advertising for your location, think about how to leverage, Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals, right? Danielle actually had a great idea. We were chatting about it, where you could run, an advertisement on best Amazon Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals, right? But the ad would actually be, hey, are you looking to take a break when you're out, like kick your feet up, with us, on Black Friday, so, you could really think about, there's the activities out there. How are you going to step into that and take advantage of that and try to funnel some of that to you?
Best is actually the most commonly searched term on Google, believe it or not. And there's more and more, and just, sorry, Jeremy, to interject here, but there's more and more organized, there's more and more retailers now that I'm seeing that are coming to me that have their company name, and they're either having a redirect, or they've registered the URL best and then their company name.com. Yeah. If their company name describes what they're selling, so it could be best windows and doors, best. So everybody's now, because best is the most commonly searched term. So make sure it's intertwined into your SEO strategy. And if you can, register the URL and do a redirect from your company name and best,
Yeah.
That's great.
Tactic. Yeah.
I love that. So just two more things really quick is, as you think about this, as you think about all the traffic that's occurring, whether you want it online or offline, is, and as it relates specifically to how are we driving online traffic offline, think about who your customer is, right? Really think about that. There are customers who really want to browse online and go offline for convenience. They want to go get it, right? They want to purchase it, but they want to come to your brick and mortar to pick it up. Some folks may find you online, but their preference, believe it or not, is to actually shop in a brick and mortar. So there are some folks out there who still just prefer, right? And another is loyalty, right? You could leverage loyalty, to your brand, to your business, right? And you could increase traffic to your store through, pickup, easy pickup, curbside pickup, or an experience in your store, right? Again, depending on who your audience is, some of your audience might appreciate, hearing from you that on Black Friday, you're offering in-store childcare, right? Or you're offering appetizers and champagne, that kind of loyalty, and building that loyalty through both the online, offline experience is really what you're after if you have a brick and mortar. So those are just some
wherever Jeremy's shopping at, if they're offering crackers and champagne. I've been missing out here. I've been going to the wrong stores. I get lines and crying children.
But
Our store does not offer that.
Yeah, where's this childcare champagne combo?
It is. A lot of bricks and mortar are trying to distinguish themselves by creating experiences. You know, how many department stores now have a Starbucks in them, have a bar in them, or have, you know, some kind of experience? And to Jeremy's point, there's a lot of them, you know, across Europe that I've seen that stores do actually have, you know, childcare where you can drop your kids off at the bottom and go do all your shopping. So it is about creating that kind of that experience.
Yeah, I love that. There was a recent study that came out about the percentage increase of how much more impulse buying you do if you're handed a cup of complimentary coffee at the start of your shopping experience.
Or if you're able to drop your kids off at a creche.
That too. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of great suggestions here. I do want to, before we wrap up, I know we're already at 45, but we did get one really good question. I'm just going to pop it onto the screen here from one of our viewers. So every year, it seems like more and more brands are getting involved in Black Friday, true story, competing for attention. So does anyone want to tackle the answer to this? How do we stand out in 2022?
Sure, I can tackle that one. I think there's a few things you can do, and one of the big things in marketing in general is research. Look at the data. Look at what your competition was doing last year, the year before that. If you can, roll up your sleeves, dig into the backlinks of activity that was around the BFCM season last year. Take a look at what they're doing this year. And sometimes it's things as small as like color psychology and the way you design your pages. Make sure you stand out. It could be the language you use. It could be, if you can, having more aggressive promotions. Get creative with that. I would say that those are things that can help you stand out quite a bit. If you're looking for ideas and perhaps you don't have as much competition, or you're a newer brand, if you have anyone on your team who is kind of on the front lines of customer facing activity, speak to them. They're going to understand best, kind of intuitively, even if they're not quite understanding like what you're looking for. Just pick their brain on customer experience and what are issues that they have. What does that customer journey look like? And just talk to people within your team who are customer facing and see if you can pull ideas from there to create an experience for your buyers specifically. Those are great ways to stand out, and also to speak to the specific buyers that you want coming in to your customer journey. So I would say that those are really important things. And just on a broader scale within a marketing team, create a culture of thinking outside of the box. A thing that we do on our marketing team that I think has actually helped quite a bit, just setting us in the mindset of how do we stand out, and breaking up the rhythm of just cranking out campaigns, is we have something called Guerrilla Marketing Wednesday. Victoria knows about this because she experiences it. But every Wednesday, we take a look at a great example of just really good out-of-the-box marketing from any industry. And we just take a look at it and pick apart what makes it really interesting, what makes it really exciting. It doesn't have to relate to our industry, but it's just something that we can learn from and be inspired by. That's really important to have with your marketing team. And then to follow it up with brainstorming sessions. How can we do a campaign outside of the box, even if it's not the Black Friday, Cyber Monday season yet? Log those ideas, put them down, have every member of your team come up with a couple. You'd be surprised the members of a marketing team that'll come up with really crazy, brilliant ideas. One of our graphic designers, Solji, she will put together really surprising ideas sometimes from these sessions. So, just create a culture of being innovative within your own marketing team. And I would say that that is one of the best things you can do as a marketer, to position your team in a place where they can be innovative and stand out with their campaigns for Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
I love it.
All right.
All right. Well, you guys, we made it. We made it the full 45 minutes and a little bit more. I do want to thank all of you, all of our speakers here, joining again from multiple different countries, time zones, backgrounds. This was an incredibly rich conversation. Lots of practical tactics that were being brought up. But before we lose people, I do want to mention just a couple more things here. And I am going to hope, there it is. So I do want to mention we have another webinar coming up. This one is October 25th. So Jonathan, who is on the webinar with us today, will be joining another Jonathan over at Sitefinity. And this one is covering headless CMS and search. But because it is so close to Halloween, it is the headless hunt with CMS and search thrown in there. So sort of a playful take on it, but really good content that's going to be covered. If you've ever had questions about what is headless CMS, what it does, is this helpful for my company, this is going to be the webinar you want to join. If you would like to scan that QR code there to register for an email notification when that is going live. And then we do have one more webinar coming up. Nils will be leading this one with WooRank. And we have Chris Mercer of Measurements Marketing. And he'll be joining Nils to talk about the upcoming switch to GA4 and how that could impact your search results. So that one is going to be, again, very informative, a lot of tactical recommendations on how to approach GA4, because it is a very different mindset shift. So if you do want to scan that QR code to register for an email notification when we are going live, that would be my recommendation. And that is it, you guys. So I just wanted to put everyone on the screen. Thank you all for joining. And yeah, we'll hopefully see you guys all again on the next webinar next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.